Good day, good day, good day. That was my theme music, y'all. I have an incredible guest tonight. Man, this guy right here is an old friend. Of course, I say it's conversation with friends. This is an old friend. Has out a few books. One is called The Father, the Son, and the Comedian Autobiography of Sean Salvers. He has another one out, but he also is a Christian comedian. Right now, with this world being heavy, we need some comedy. We need somebody to make us laugh in a good Christian way. Without further ado, I bring you on one of my best friends in the industry, Sean Salvers.
What's happening?
What's happening? What's happening, champ? How you doing today, man?
Good. So you already made the disclaimer. You already made the disclaimer that I'm a Christian comedian, so I can't cuss.
Yeah.
Because you know I be cussing. I be cussing off camera. I be cussing in the church parking lots. I be cussing in Walmart. I be cussing at Target. I
Man.
be cussing behind the church. But I ain't gonna cuss tonight. I ain't gonna cuss tonight.
Okay, you ain't cuss tonight. Well, let me tell the folks a little about you, Sean. I met Sean. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think, how did I meet you, Sean? Was you
You met
on
me
you
at
was
you met me at the show.
you was on a song CD, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's how I met. He was on a Christian rapper CD, and we were having a Christian rapper at the church. And a song I got love for a song, great brother. But
yeah, absolutely.
Sean had inserts in his Christian rapper CD. I mean, and I was done. I was like, who is that? So when I met a song, I said, who is that funny dude on the CD? He said, you don't know him? I said, no. He said, that's Sean Salvers, man. He funny, man. So I met up with Sean, and I had a song at the church one time, and he did his thing. Then I met with Sean. Man, Sean got his cell phone number. We started talking, and we had so much relationship with knowing where we both from. We both from Southeast DC, y'all. Well,
Yeah.
I'm from South. He crossed the Maryland line, yeah. He Ward 9 before there was a Ward 9. So we started talking, and Sean started hosting shows at my church for us,
Yeah.
and we became friends. And Sean taught me the business of working with church folk.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different thing. You told me, you and a son, y'all schooled me. I was like, look, we want our money up front. I was like, why
Yeah.
y'all want some money up front? He said, because most time churches give us the first piece of money and they won't pay us the rest of it. They'll do a chicken dinner or give you love offering. And they ain't have, I can't fly home. I can't do that. So you, you, you,
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want my money up front from everybody. I
yeah,
want my
yeah.
money up front from pastors, deacons, presidents, CEOs, all that. I want my money. Don't limit it to the church. Don't limit it to the church. I want my money from everybody.
But you schooled me on that. I was used to make the contract, give you a down payment, and give me the other half when you get there. You like, no. I was
Well,
like,
that's
bro, what?
good. That's good. That's
But I
good.
was, but you said,
Down payment. Yeah.
but you told me, bro, I don't work like that. I was like, what you mean? Work? This is church. He said, man. Then you told me the story. You said some people don't get my money, man. He said, so I charge what I need up front, and y'all
Yeah.
gotta get my money. If you can't get that money, we can't. I can't come. We
Right.
can't put on
Absolutely.
advertisement or nothing. And I was like, oh man. So
Hmm.
I want to talk about what was your journey? I know you wasn't always a Christian comedian. Tell me your
Hmm.
journey from coming from the other side. Cause I got pictures of you with Shaq. You was at the All-Star game, the All-Star weekend, and doing stuff with everybody else. Was you wasn't always a Christian comedian. Tell us your transition.
Well, what happened was, I was doing comedy. I was out there doing comedy. I've been. If you're from the Washington D.C. area, I was at the Comedy Connection of Laurel and Greenbelt,
Mm-hmm.
and so then I was, like I said, I was doing comedy. I was doing my thing, and then what happened was I got saved. And so, but I got saved early though. I got saved like about 90. No, I got saved at 86. I got no, okay, I'm doing it backwards. I got saved in 86 and I was doing my comedy. But what happened was I would get on stage and people would cuss or whatever, and then I would get on stage behind them and I would try to be clean. And the audience was like, nah, man, we ain't. We ain't down for that clean stuff. So I started cussing. I started cussing. So I was cussing, I was cussing, I was cussing, I was cussing, I was cussing. And so then I started feeling guilty about me cussing. And so I started doing clean comedy, So I was doing it for first I was doing it for the churches. And so they was loving it. And so then my as I was doing it for the churches, my thing kind of broadened, you know. And so I was doing it for a larger crowd, but then at the same time I was getting popular in the DC area. And so that's it.
And so you're totally clean now, right?
Well, you know what? I'm totally clean, but then at the same time I go to ratchet places, so at the same time, see the funny thing was I wasn't strong enough to do the ratchet places and still be clean.
Right, right,
You know,
right, right.
right. I had to get a little tough. So like now I don't worry about cussing. I don't worry about cussing. Not cussing is definitely me now.
Okay. So
Hmm.
you had to get a groove into it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Because at the same, and then I think what happened was at the same time the people knew that I was clean, so they was like, "Oh, well, he clean," And so I would just do my act, and just be comfortable with it. But then, and then at the same time, I had to thank my man, Marcus D. Wiley.
Mm-hmm.
Cause Marcus D. Wiley, he don't cuss at his shows, and he's comfortable with that. I had to get comfortable with not cussing. Cause at the same time, I would slip up a couple times. And I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna be cool with this. I'm gonna be cool with this. So I just started doing comedy and just not cussing. So I don't cuss, but but at the same time, I do cuss. I do. I, I do cuss at my personal. I do cuss, but at the same time, you gotta really make me mad. You gotta really make me mad, or I drop a boulder on my foot, or I fall out the car where they're going
Mm-hmm.
70 miles an hour, and then at the same time, you don't say darn when you fall out the car. You say mother so, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, folks, don't get frantic. I'm not a cusser. Not for everything, but I do. Yeah, I do cuss a little bit.
Well,
So I don't want anybody to be mad.
I'm gonna fast forward this. We were at an event, y'all, and Sean didn't know that I was gonna be introducing him because he didn't know I went to this particular church. And we were at an event, and the pastor told Sean, he's a bishop now, he told Sean that I got somebody to introduce you. And you said you was getting anxiety attacks, like who know me that can introduce me? Because when you were already boys, but you didn't know I went to this church. So when I came out and introduced you, you came out there, you said, whoa, that could have been any look, I think you said that could have been any damn body. I'm glad it was
Oh my God, did I say
bruh. And you went on one. That's the night that you had a heckler. How do you deal with hecklers? You had a heckler at the church event. You remember that?
that? I don't remember.
I'm gonna tell you what she said. She had seen you before, and you was in your first 10 minutes of the show. You was doing like a 45-minute set. You killed it.
Um,
You doing like a 45-minute set. And she kept on telling you to tell a joke. And you was trying to be Christian church nice. And you did it. You was nice for about 30 minutes. And basically, you told her if she say something else, you're gonna talk about her hair. Man, the church folks lost it. The church folks lost it. But you finally said the joke that she wanted you to say. You had a joke about. You probably can tell a joke. You had a joke about being a security guard. Uh,
yeah.
can you do that joke, Sean?
Oh Lord, you go, but I gotta be physical and do that, and then they gotta see my feet.
They
They
got
gotta,
to. Well, just
they gotta see they gotta see my
tell them the
legs.
logistics of that joke, Sean.
Rodney. First of all, you've been knowing me a long time. Don't be trying to squeeze those jokes out of this podcast. Okay. Don't be trying
Man,
to squeeze. Don't be because at the same time I gotta be physical. I gotta get up on the chair and do my feet for the joke to be effective. You can talk to me
man.
and I still be funny. So go ahead with that.
Yonder, Yonder, I can't believe it. He just used your government name. I didn't even know your
I
government
see,
name, and
I
I've been your
see.
producer.
Now
I've been your
I'ma start
producer for.
cussing.
I've been your
I'ma
producer
start
for a
cussing when you
while.
use my government. I'ma start cussing. Mother.
Yonder, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so used to calling you the other name. I'm
Yeah, you
sorry.
used to the other day. I do have a question about the hecklers because you didn't really answer that. How do you deal with it? Because I remember years ago, my brother, we talked about some of the people that we know together and everything, like Tony Woods and Terry Tuff, and I could even add Roy Ailes. And there's a friend of mine that's a longtime friend that's a movie maker, and I'll mention his name in a minute. And you probably knew him because he used to manage a comedy club here in North Carolina. But before I get to that, my brother, who is married now, I think for the second or getting ready to be the third time because he's engaged and has been engaged for a number of years and everything like that. But he was a part
Okay.
of a wedding. He was part of a wedding party, and Tony, I think, was performing that day and everything like that. So you can imagine at a comedy club, people coming up to the second floor because the comedy club was on the second floor, and they are dressed in tuxedos. So as
Right.
soon as they walked in the comedy club, the comedian went lit into them and started making penguin jokes because it was a party of about five or six brothers and everything like that. So I remember Tony started like roasting them, but one of the things that I learned about heckling is that, and you can tell me if this is wrong, is that you can't heckle just anybody because my brother used to play the dozens with his friends, and these were some of the friends that he was at the wedding party with. So it became a contest of the dozens between him and Tony. So they actually went back and forth, and I think the people at the show might have enjoyed it because it became almost a contest of the dozens because they are not professional comedians, but they are folks that are used to playing the dozens. So when Tony went
Right.
after them, they went back after him. So I was wondering, have you had those incidents where it became less about heckling and almost a contest of the dozens?
No, well, you know what? And that's interesting that you even say that because it's not the dozens. It's really not the dozens. It's like how a comedian feels.
Right.
Okay, and I give you an example. Sometimes if I'm on stage and somebody says something, I let it ride by.
Right.
Reason why I let it ride by is because if I just got on stage, people don't even know me yet.
Right.
So at the same time, it might look like I'm picking on them. You know what I'm saying? But the wrong time, and I tell everybody, the wrong time to heckle me is if I've been on stage for like 20 minutes and
Right.
the people have gotten conditioned to me. Now they on my side. Now I'm gonna light you up, whatever. So then how I pick out what I want to say, it's whatever you want wearing. It's whatever you saying. Like if you sound funny, if you're goofy, if the audience recognize what I'm getting ready to say, I'm gonna light you up.
And
But at the same time, I guess when I first get on stage and somebody says, it depends on what somebody says too. This is interesting. It depends on what somebody says. So if somebody says something, if I get on stage, and then I'll say something to them, and then I'll jump off and then go into my set, and so that'll let them know, like, hey, I ain't the one to be messed with, you
right.
know. But at the same time, like I said, if I've been on stage for like 20, check comedians out though. If you've been on stage for like 20 or 30 minutes and you say something goofy or you say something out of line or whatever, I got you.
And I think that's what
You
it
know.
was with Tony, because like I said, this party that my brother was part of, and it was a wedding party that he was part of. They came in the middle of the set because I'll tell you who the comedian was, and he's a comedian, he's a filmmaker that's a longtime friend of mine, and you probably knew him because he was out of the DC area as well, thinking about moving to the area. But if you know this film, This Christmas, Ronnie Warner is a longtime friend of mine. Everything like
Oh
that.
my God, Ronnie Warner. Me and Ronnie Warner kind of grew up
Mm-hmm.
together. That's my dog. I got a,
Yeah,
I got a story. I got a story. If you allow me to say
yeah.
it about Ronnie Warner's stepfather,
Go ahead.
huh?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, okay. That and people, please do not judge me about. We don't know who Ronnie Warner is. Ronnie Warner was the guy with the dreads
Right,
and This Christmas. He
right,
was a little light skinned guy
right,
with the mustache. Where he was in the bathroom scene and he was spending the night over Idris Elba's mother's house or whatever.
right,
Okay,
right.
so what happened was, and this is before he was making films or whatever. So what
Right.
happened was, he told me to come over to because we was doing the show in Richmond. So I said okay. So I went over to his house. So his mother and his stepfather, they was lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
right? They was lawyers. So his stepfather, I rang the doorbell. His stepfather came to the door with a white beater on, with some shorts that was hemmed up and some church socks, right? I lie to you not, really. I lie to you not. So what happened was, and stepfather was soft spoken, so he would talk like this. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, Ronnie's in the house. Why don't you come up, man? And Ronnie's in the house. So I said, okay. So I went in the house and everything. So he said, yeah, Ronnie is downstairs. So I said, okay. So, man, I started walking downstairs. I lie to you not. It sounded like somebody threw a coffee table, an end table, a refrigerator down the steps. His father was coming down the steps behind me. He slipped and
Oh,
fell down the steps behind me. And I told you how he was soft spoken, right? He was like, yeah, whatever. Man, when he fell down the steps, he was screaming. He was like, help, help, somebody help me. Ah, somebody help me. Boogie, 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 boogie. He tried to break the fall. He tried to grab the railing. The railing came out the wall. He spun around. He was falling. He was screaming. Like he was about to die, right? When he got to the bottom, because he just missed me. When he got to the bottom of the steps, right? Ronnie came around the corner and he was like, Dad, Dad, what happened? His stepfather went right back to being soft spoken. He was like, oh no, I was walking down the steps and I tripped. And man, it's rude to laugh in front of people. I lost it. I thought I was going into a coma for laughing so hard. That's my story. That's in my book. That's
okay.
in my book. That's in my book. Ronnie
Yeah.
Warner. Yes, that's in my
Well,
book.
like I said, Ronnie's a long time friend. As a matter of fact, he's thinking about applying for a job at a cultural center that I work at and everything. So we actually talked about a week or two and everything ago. So yeah, I've known Ronnie for a number of years. We worked on a couple of projects. He used
Yeah.
to manage a comedy club in Durham, North Carolina. That I still live in Durham, but I remember when he managed that club, that's where I met people like Pierre and
You still live in Durham now?
I still live in Durham now.
You know about Fairville Street?
Fairview Street is where the Hayti Heritage Center is, and that's where I work at. I work at the Hayti Heritage Center. You probably know a comedian friend of mine that works at a mail room, but he is also a Christian comedian. He goes by the name of D Wish.
I don't know him. That the name sound no, the name don't even sound familiar.
He's a younger comedian. He's not that young. He's probably like in his, I'd say 40s or something like that. But yeah, he's been in that Christian comedian racket for a while too, just like Gravedigger has. So there are a couple of Christian comedians.
I just worked with Gravedigger like about a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I just met him. Yeah, he's funny too. He's hilarious. He's hilarious. I just met Gravedigger like about September 20th. We did a show in Sanford, North Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah. So so I know Gravedigger. I know
You
Gravedigger.
got to be careful about doing shows in Sanford though, because Sanford isn't that far from Smithfield, and for a long time Smithfield had a sign that involved a letter that's in the middle, and if you got three of them, then it's a racist group and everything like that. So it's a Klan.
Yeah. But you know what? It's so funny. My family is from Smithfield.
Okay.
Smithfield and Selma, North Carolina.
Yeah, they used to have that sign there about "Welcome to Klan Country."
Yeah, I know about that sign. And the funny thing, they told me about that sign when I was in Durham one night, and I wanted to go visit my family. It was like, oh yeah, oh you going to Smithfield? Oh, the Ku Klux Klan be in Smithfield. I said, why y'all gonna tell me this now when it's dark and I got to drive to Smithfield? But yeah, absolutely.
Actually, the guy that does the show that Yonder is substituting for him that's sick, he went to North Carolina Central University, and it's actually their homecoming. So you were asking about Fayetteville Street. North Carolina Central University is
North Carolina Central is right on Fayetteville Street. I used to live. I can't remember which street I used to live on. But I used to live down the street from Fayetteville Street. From Fayetteville Street. Absolutely.
Before I turn it
Yeah.
back over to you and Yonder, you mentioned something that I've heard a lot of comedians and a lot of musicians talk about. How do you get past those folks that don't want to pay and everything like that? Because I know even back in the day, and the comedy circuit is different now than it used to be, but you'd have a lot of folks that would try to scam and everything. A buddy of mine who's a theater tech calls it the brain drain. They would try to get your information to get you to do a performance and pay you nickels or dimes, even back
Well,
in the
you
day.
know what? You know what? At the same time, and this is where I go being Christian again. At the same time, I've been really blessed. I haven't really had a lot of people who tried to scheme me or whatever. Last year I had a lady that gave me a deposit, and it came back like about maybe 10 hours later, talking about, oh, we found another comedian, and so we're gonna need the deposit back. No, you ain't. You're not getting this deposit back. You done gave me this. So she talking about, I cash at you. I said, go to a court of law and say you cash at me. That cash, I said, because I didn't try to trick you. I didn't try to manipulate you or nothing like that. You gave me with a contract. You didn't sign the contract, but you did give me the cash app. So I said, I'm taking this. I said, so go to court, any court of law. Another it was all last year. It was all bogus. Last year, I went and I was hosting this lady's event for her husband. And so I knew the people. I knew the people, you know. And what she wanted me to do was she wanted me to announce the table. I was hosting. So she wanted me to announce the tables to come and eat. So I did the tables, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever, whatever, whatever. So then I was waiting for her to bring me up. She went on and she announced her family, so they went and did a they went and they wanted to roast the honoree. So I get that. Okay, cool. They wanted to roast the honoree. So then they had a singing group up. They went and announced the singing group. I said okay, and so then they announced the band. So one thing about, if you don't know about stand-up comedy, you cannot do a show after people have been dancing. They've been sweating, having a good time, this and the third, whatever, whatever. And then she was like, so then what happened was all that was left was to announce everybody back up, and then that was it. I went home. And so she got mad because I went home and it's talking about, you could have performed. I said, ma'am, I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. I said, so at the same time, when a band starts playing and people start dancing and sweating and this and that, the show is over.
Oh yeah, it shows over at
Yeah,
that point. Like I said, I'm
yeah.
getting turned over to you and Yonder and everything. But just really quickly, as I'm working out the door, matter of fact, I might get on my phone and call Ronnie and see if he's at home because he's in California right now and everything like that. But there's a buddy of mine, Franklin. He plays Sandman on this show that I'm part of called The Road to the Apollo. It's tied in to the Apollo up there in New York and everything. So it's based on the Apollo contest, and we get our winners to go and get in to get an audition for top of the line. So we get to jump the line basically and everything like that. And he Captain did that for 10 years. But Franklin, who is our regular comedian and plays the role of Sandman, is also a barber. So what's the craziest job that you've seen a comedian do that it caught you off guard that they were doing that while also being a comedian?
Probably me. That was waiting tables.
Okay.
But
It was
the
you.
funny
You
thing,
right, Sean. It was you.
it was me. It was me. I was like maybe 5 or 10 years in the game, so my money hadn't come up yet as far as doing comedy. So like for me, I would go wait tables in the day. I wasn't doing nothing in the day and do comedy at night. And a couple times people saw me. They were like, "Was that you?" No, no, no. The funny thing was I had been on Comic View. I
Mm-hmm.
had been on Comic View, and so this girl, she said, "You look just like this dude was on Comic View last night." I said, "For real?" So what y'all want? Y'all want Coke? Y'all want Sprite? And so she
So can we
said,
cook your
"Yo,
fries with that burger?
huh?"
That gonna be Coke and fries with that burger.
Exactly. Shut up, but you even sound like the dude. I said, I know. I said, everybody keeps saying that. Everybody say so. When you want ultimate feast, you want first fry with man. It was crazy, man. But yeah, probably like the first 10 years of my comedy career, that's what I did. I was waiting tables.
But Sean, did you know that Rodney Dangerfield said that he was I think he was a roofer or a window person.
Yeah,
And he was on the Tonight Show and he was doing somebody's house, and the dude said he came in the door and looked at he was on the Tonight Show. You know, the Tonight Show came out earlier then, and dude was like, he like a dude was on the Tonight Show. He said that's when he finally quit his job. He said because he was like, I was on the Tonight Show. He said so they started calling him, but you know, Rodney Dangerfield ain't getting on till he's 50.
yeah,
People
yeah.
don't know that, but he was like, he said I had a job. He said I had to make a living. He was a roofer or a painter, something to do with a
But
house. He was doing
but
something
you know
at a
what?
house.
But you know what? People don't understand. People think like because you a comedian or whatever, and even you have some excuse me, you have some type of fame. You have you being notarized. People think that well you made it.
You
No,
got
I was.
automatic got checked. Come on, Sean. We've been in business for years. Like, look, I laugh about this all the time. When my first book signing, I sold 60 books. That's like uh, amazing and no name off the lane. So
Mhm.
I knew the next week I was gonna be on Oprah. No, I still got a job.
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna be on Oprah next week because I done sold 60 books. I'm Joe Nobody. I was at Capital Book Festival given by Kwame, my boy Kwame Alexander, out there where the Magic Johnson Theater was. I sold 60 books. I was Joe Nobody. And I just knew, I made it right now. Watch. Oprah gonna call me.
Yeah.
Oprah gonna call me next week. I'm gonna be part of Oprah Book Club. That's it. I'm packing up. I'm going to Hollywood. I'm singing Shaka
And-
Khan. Look, Sean, I'm singing Shaka Khan. He's on his way, going to Hollywood, shopping at the Hollywood. I was on my way to Hollywood.
wow.
But
And
you know
how
how it
and
is.
how much was your books?
Shoot, you talking about 20 years ago? They were $10 a piece. Man,
So
I
you made
killed it.
600. You made $600.
I killed it, Sean. I killed it. I was like, who the man up? Mind you, I was Joe Nobody. I ain't know how to set a table. You know when you first come out, you don't know how to do anything. I took the books on the table, Sean. I took my cards out. I just stood up there and said, I'm Yonder with you. I just gave them personality. And
Yeah.
they started buying them books and signing in, taking pictures with me. I was like, oh shit. Man. 21 years later, I'm still in the game trying to get to trying to get that bag. And it'll eventually, but you know what? I don't know what your years is in comedy. I know you said 30. And in writing, most of us don't get our place for at least 20 years. It's sad,
Yeah.
but true. I mean, you can go back in time from Yama Van Zant to Maya Angelou. We didn't know who Maya Angelou till Oprah brought her back out. We knew it because we knew how to cage bird sing because we had to read that in school, but you didn't know. I think Waiting to Exhale didn't come out until the book was probably 20 years old. The movie ain't come out. The book was actually 20 years old
Right.
when the movie came out.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
we thinking, and our own mind, we're not looking at history. We're just looking at this high. I'm the baddest comedian, and I still feel like I'm the best writer there is. But
Right.
as you go through it, you like, oh man, I got some trials, some tribulations. I gotta do this differently. As you go through from podcasts, I know you've been on radio, I know you've been on TV, you've done it. So in comedians land, when is because I know they're doing the internet and all that, Instagram and all that. But the thing about that is you have to have some stories. Okay, you can't just have that one story to make you a million to get you a million followers. Your story has to keep going, and people don't realize that. We got stories for a lifetime. I can get you in 10 different places, 10 different days. You say you have different jokes.
Hey,
People don't
Yonder,
realize the
Yonder.
sweat behind this.
Yeah, hold
Yes.
on a second. I got Ronnie Water right here on the phone and everything. So, Ronnie, I got Sean Sarvis over here and everything like that.
What's up, man? What's happening?
What's up, brother?
Man, I was just telling them, man, I grew up with you being my big brother, and I was a little brother. But we did all types of shows and everything together, man.
Oh man, we was all over the place, man. We was on the road together.
We
Yeah.
were going exactly. We were going. Hey, look. Do you remember the time? Do you remember the time that you and your girlfriend we had to share a room? Do you remember that? And we was in, I think we was in Norfolk, huh?
Where were we at?
Well, I think it was your girlfriend. We was in Norfolk. We was in Norfolk. Remember? Oh, we was at Pizzazz. Remember
Yes,
we was at Pizzazz?
I think it was. It was.
Yeah, we was at Pizzazz, man. But we did all types of shows and everything together. Of course, we did Monique's. You know, Monique used to have a club in Baltimore, and
Yeah, Baltimore.
so
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
so we did Monique's. We did, of course, the Comedy Connection of Laurel and Greenbelt. You know, but
Yes, did
you know
y'all go on
what?
the Naismith tour?
Huh?
Yes, did y'all go on the Naismith tour?
We went on a Naismith tour, but we went at different times. He went. Actually, I went with Monique, and I forgot who Ronnie went with.
Yeah, but I know we did this room. We did Herman Hurst's room together, didn't we?
Herman Hurston's room. Herman. You know what? I think so. Herman Hurston's was in Virginia Beach, right?
Virginia Beach, and then he had a room in Petersburg or something like that too.
Yeah,
Me and
yeah.
Mike Brooks go somewhere.
Huh?
Didn't you, me and Mike Brooks go somewhere? Fayetteville. Yeah. Monique's brother had us go down to Fayetteville.
We went down Fayetteville?
Yep.
You, me, and Mike Brooks.
Now I don't remember that. Because I remember the rooms that me and you did. Because I know we went to well, I guess they go to Fayetteville. We went to Fayetteville, and then we went to Norfolk, and I just remember, yeah. But we did a lot of rooms.
Yeah, a
But
lot of
but
good times, brother. Hey,
but Ronnie,
friends, brother.
Ronnie, Ronnie, can you tell the story about? Can you tell the story about the time that when you was on stage and you was talking about somebody got shot and you fell out, right, and the audience went crazy and you was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this for the second show."
Oh man, I will tell that real quick. I did. I had this show, and Mark, this was crazy because it was right after the comedy club closed, and I was working with Brett Chang. You know, Brett got me that job over at the TV station, like an intern type job. And anyway, some guy broke out of prison and got on a high-speed chase and ended up on university's campus.
Right.
And they was like, the cameras were down there, and obviously the cops were there and everything because he had taken the people hostage. And so right? And so he was inside the I guess a classroom or whatever. He was in there for a minute, and then all of a sudden it seemed like it just came to him, like he'd been watching movies or something. Oh yeah, I should be making demands. Right? So he went to the window, and he said, "All right, I want $5,000. I want a car." And all of a sudden, you heard it go, "Pow!" They shot him right in the forehead.
But the funny thing was, you said you left your feet, and you said because this is a learning thing for me. You said never leave your feet. He said because you got to make sure it's hilarious if you leave your feet. He said because you got to get up.
Did that on stage. I was in first place room down in Atlanta, and I did it the first show. I told the story. I did it like the dude fell out the window or whatever, right? First show on Friday, the crowd went nuts, man. It was like, I was like, oh man, I got me a killer. And Sean, oh man, that's golden. You can ride that, you can ride that out. Man,
right.
Same joke. The second show, crickets. And nobody laughed, bro.
No,
Hey,
no.
You like about 200 people just sitting there. I said, and then I had to get up off the ground.
hey, Ronnie, just really quickly. I was telling them real quick about the time, and it wasn't Malik's wedding, but it was one of Malik's friends. It might have even been Clee, who has since passed away and everything. But do you remember when, I think it was Tony that came up there and they were dressed in tuxedos, so they started playing the dozens with each other. Do you remember that? Because that's when you had the comedy.
Oh, man, that was at the
Yeah, Tony Woods.
It was Tony Woods.
Yeah, it was Tony.
Oh wow, wow. Yeah,
Sean, where are you at?
I'm at home. I'm at Akaki.
Oh, got it. Okay,
Yeah, I'm at Akaki, bro. You.
I hope you promoted your book, man. I read your book, by the way, man. It was amazing. I read it in like a sitting, damn near. It was that good, man.
Yeah, he was telling the story
You. I
about your
appreciate
father
it.
that he's got in the book where your stepfather failed. So he was telling that story earlier about
you. Man, that was hilarious.
Hey, Ronnie, hey, Mark, let him know. I want to have him on the show. Hey, Ronnie, this is Yonder, the host of the show. I'm an old friend of Sean's. I gotta have you on the show soon, man.
Anytime, just let me know.
Yonder, tell him your real name. Tell your real name.
You don't need to know my damn real name.
No, he's asking Yonder to tell you his real name because he goes by Yonder. That's his author name.
That's my author name. You only unless he write me a check.
Ronnie's asking you what's your government name.
Right. Exactly. Now, Yonder is my dude. I've been knowing Yonder for like now probably about 20 years now.
Probably about 20 years, Sean. Yeah.
Yeah. So Yonder is a good dude. He's a good dude.
You near a computer, Ronnie?
Nah, man. Matter of fact, Mark, I was gonna let you know. I was actually gonna call you tonight.
Okay.
I just got to Carolina, so we gotta link up.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Oh, you in Carolina now?
Yeah, I just got here tonight.
So what you doing there?
What's that?
What are you doing in Carolina?
Well, my mom's here, and I'm from here.
Okay. So
I call this coming home.
Yeah, and you're here doing homecoming, so I'm sure you're gonna do some homecoming events.
Yeah, look. I'm gonna try to do something. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Look, I don't know how much time you got with us, but when the movie came out, Mike Washington went to go see it, and so he when I saw him later on, or maybe 2 days later, whatever, he said, "Hey, you got to go see that movie." I said, "What you mean I got to go see it?" He said, "You got to go see the movie," and he said, one of our brothers is in the movie, and it's going to shock you. And he said, not only is he in the movie, he did an excellent job. So I'm like, well, who was it? So he was like, I'm not going. He said, I'm not going to tell you. He said, surprise. He said, you got to go see the movie. When I saw the movie, I was like, wait a minute, was that Ronnie? I said, was that Ronnie? So I think you was in the first scene, right?
Definitely was early on. You're right.
Yeah. So but then, you see somebody in a movie that you'll be like, wait a minute, was that Ronnie? So I think I went on a date. So she like, would you shut up about if it was? I said no. I think that was my boy. Right? She said, well, if it was your boy, why you ain't know he was in the movie? I said, well, he moved to the West Coast. I said, I haven't seen him in a while, And so when I saw your face, huh?
I said, because it had been a few years at that point.
Yeah.
07, it had been a few years. You're right.
Yeah. So when I saw you, I was like, oh, now you can imagine me in the movie theater, the crowd of the movie theater, and I'm like, oh my God, that's my dog. And so when I got out the movie, I called Mike. I said, why you ain't tell me Ronnie was in the movie? He said, because I knew it was going to shock you. He said, I knew it was going to shock you.
God, I love it.
Yeah, that was definitely a surprise for me.
God,
yeah.
Cool.
Man, we miss you too, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna send you the link if you wanted to pop in and everything, but if you're not near a computer or near the phone, I can still send it to you though.
He
But if
got
you
the
want
phone in his
Look,
hand.
look. Y'all don't even know. Me and Ronnie, we would be at the comedy club and we would just be. Remember that? I don't even know if you remember this, but remember the time we was at not Jokes on Us. What was the comedy club that Pop had?
Oh yeah, I forgot the name of it though. I totally forgot the name. I know you
The
talking about.
comedy spot. Was it something like that? The
Yeah,
comedy spot.
I think it was called a comedy spot. I think it was called a comedy spot. I think.
Okay. So then remember we talked to like about we talked until they closed up. They was setting up chairs, and and I asked you for a ride home, and you gave me a ride home, and we was on 95, and it was a big accident. You remember that?
I don't remember that.
no, but I
You
I
can,
don't remember that.
you know, but
Hold up. Because I remember. I don't remember the accident part. Because I remember we was talking late. I remember
we
that
was
part.
talking
I don't
late
remember
as
the
I don't know
accident.
what. Yeah,
yeah, speaking
yeah,
of that, and then I'm gonna turn it back over to Yonder. I might still send you the link if you want to pop in on the phone. But just really quickly, I can relate to the late nights because Ronnie, me, you, Brett, and even sometimes Ray. After the comedy club closed, what we'd be
Oh
down
man, we
there.
were going. We go across. You remember the girl that had the club across the street? We
Uh,
go over
ano-
there and close the club.
we close another
Come
time.
on, man. It was late night.
We close another time, and then we go over to that late night place, steak and egg.
Yep.
well, that sounds good right about there.
Yeah, it was.
Cool. I'm gonna get off this phone. I mean, I'm gonna get off
Yeah,
this.
man, do y'all thing, man. Hey, Sean, it's lovely talking to you, man. Love you, brother, and
Love
love
you
you,
too,
Mark.
man. Love you too,
Man.
man.
Okay.
Definitely.
Hey, Mark, I'll hit you up like tomorrow.
Oh yeah, hold on a second. I'm gonna drop off the screen and let them keep talking. But yeah,
And see, Sean, that's what I like about comedians. I used to watch J. Anthony Brown on Tom with him on Tom Joyner,
Hmm.
and then I've seen Jay in person. The best jokes are when y'all laughing yourselves. People don't
Yeah.
understand that because it's the real scenes of it. When you say when you talked about, I remember you said you used to work at Red Lobster, man. When you tell a joke, man, and it's personal, man. Like I said, I know you can't show it now because the joke that the lady was heckling you about. If folks has even understood that you had, like you said, you had to stand up in a chair. It was straight. It was you. Can I tell you what you remind me of? And I said it's only to one other person. You joke like the best comedian. I know we got the Mount Rushmore, everybody, Richard Pryor, and all them. Well, one
Right.
of the best comedians was Jerry Lewis.
Jerry
Jerry
Lewis?
would be in the. He would act. He would fall out of nowhere. Jerry would
Right.
fall. That's how your comedy was. You would be in it, and folks don't even realize that you telling a joke, but it was real.
Right.
You did that joke so good that that girl had to heckle you for the first 10 minutes of your show because you said that joke sometime before and she had to have that joke. She ain't stopping until she got that joke 20 minutes later.
Right. Right.
And we
It,
understood why she heckled you for that joke because when you said it, we was done. We
but you
was
know
done.
what?
You didn't leave the stage, but you could have. You could have left the stage. You could have dropped the mic right then and there because the bishop was on the floor.
But
Everybody, there wasn't a dry church eye up in there.
but you know what the funny thing about me, and not to be bragging on myself. A lot of times, well, I guess it's not bragging. A lot of times, I forget what jokes I had said, even when I heckle people, because I never forget one night, and this is like on Valentine's Day, in '98, and the Comic Connection was packed. The Comic Connection sat like about 500 people, and so so I remember jumping on some people, but it just kind of, I mean, I ain't gonna say it was not a big deal to me, but it was not really a big deal. So later on, maybe like about, I don't know, maybe about, I don't know, about 3 months or 6 months or whatever, this man came up to me. He was like, Sean Salvas. And I said, hey, what's up, buddy? And he was like, nothing. He said, man, we was at the Comic Connection this that night on Valentine's Day. He said, man, you lit my wife up. He said, I told her not to wear that hat. He said, but you lit her up. He said, I bet she won't wear that hat again. And I didn't even remember. I didn't. I didn't even remember. I was like,
Because
oh,
when you're artist, Sean, when you in.
yeah.
You're in a different world. People don't realize that. Like I said, man, you were sitting there, and I've heard numerous of your jokes. I've heard numerous yourself. There's some days that I call you because I need to pull up, and we'll just talk about. Man, you laughed about something the other day. We were just laughing, and if anybody else was on here, they was like, "What y'all talking about?" We totally talk about nothing. You was telling me about experience about something. I remember when you was in the hospital about a month ago, and you called me and you said, "Right," you said,
Oh,
"Yonder, I
oh
can't
yeah, I
breathe."
remember that.
Man, we laughed so hard. I said, "Sean, I gotta get off the phone because I ain't gonna try and make you laugh." We laughed so hard about not breathing. We laugh so hard. I tell folks all the time, I need to call Sean Soft. Let me call Sean Soft. I need
I
because we just
appreciate that, man.
man,
I
but we
really.
just talk about nothing. We can talk about what's name. I brought my wife up to my brother lives right across the street from Greater Southeast Hospital.
Mm,
And I brought my wife up there. We was in town a couple weeks ago. And I always talk about this sandwich I used to get from the Star Carryout after we can get Hyde and Cootie Brown. I call it the Get Hot sandwich. It was a steak, egg, ham, and cheese. It's at the Star Carryout is still up there on that corner. He lives on the Maryland side. It's still over there. The junkies still hanging around there. They still sleeping in the gasoline station. You don't want to get no gas at the gas station. You might as well just pee in your tank because you don't want to. You know, certain parts of the hood you can't go in.
right.
And definitely with no Maryland. Oh, who that? So we went up there and we got that. They still had the old sign that was 30 years old. Still said steak, egg, ham, and cheese. But we got some chicken wings from up there, bro. Man, I don't know what the hood got on chicken wings, bro. These were the look, dude. These were like a chef had made them. They were so good, bro. Them whole chicken
Wow.
wings, bro, from the stock car. Mind you, we standing out front. They had plastic gas before plastic glass was out. You know that.
Yeah. Right. 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 Right.
And junkies in there. People laying in the car, people sleep at the gas station just by the pump.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
you ain't been down there lately.
But no, but it don't surprise me because Southeast is Southeast.
Man,
Southeast, you would see anything. Look, people who are not from the DMV area or whatever. When you come to Southeast, look, we was talking about me and my cousin. We was talking the last week. He was like, "Do you remember this dog used to be on top of the roof barking?" And I said, "I do remember that." In Southeast, you will see all types of stuff, and then at the same time, you good with it. You don't run home and say, "Guess what, y'all? I saw a dog on top of a roof." It's just like if it comes up in the conversation, you just talk about.
and everybody know what that street is. I remember we lived in Bird Farms. We lived in projects. And one of our neighbors, we call him Chicken George because he had chickens. How he got chickens in the project? We call to this day, they call him Chicken George.
Hmm.
He had chickens in the projects. Why?
Exactly.
We ain't had no yard.
Yeah.
He had chicken. We call him to this day Chicken George.
Right. Right. Right.
And like you
Oh my.
said, that was normal.
It was normal. It was normal. You didn't go. It wasn't big news. You didn't put it on the news. I saw my friend George that had chickens. You didn't say that. It was just like, or if it came up in the conversation, oh yeah, chicken. Oh yeah, chicken. Oh yeah, chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog,
Man, I was
dog on
telling
top
some.
of a roof. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
telling somebody today about I said date this girl on Robinson Place. And they didn't have a store on Robinson Place, right? When you go past, come down Sooner Parkway, make that right. By Johnson High School. By Johnson Junior High School. They didn't have a store there. They had an ice cream truck that sold Pampers, school tokens, bread, and penicillin. The ice
Mm,
cream truck. And it did it, and on Sunday it sold the Washington Post.
yeah. Or ice cream truck. You get cigarettes. You can get Clorox,
Like I
bleach.
said, Sean, it sold penicillin. It
Yeah,
sold penicillin at the ice cream truck.
yeah. Because people around there needed it.
You, you, you ain't had to go. You ain't had to go to CVS or Walgreens and get no subscriptions. You went
Right.
to the ice cream truck. They were $5 a pill.
Exactly. 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 That's Southeast for you. That's
Like I said,
Southeast
it
for you.
sold the Washington Post on Sundays.
Uh-huh. Hey, he probably got because the Washington Post was like $1, so he probably got them Washington Post for like a quarter or 50 cents
Man,
to make a profit.
man. Folks don't even understand that. That was the store. Wasn't no stores in the neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely,
Man, they
absolutely.
like you said, you see some stuff in Southeast and in the hood, you be sitting there like everybody else thinking something different. Like, did you no, just walk on down the street. He all right. He all right.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
I know we talking about mental health and everything with everybody. I've known mental health folks all my life. We called them something else, beginning with a C. I'm trying to stay on the FCC come after us. It was a big word we called a C. You knew somebody C everywhere. Everybody somebody in your family was crazy.
Right, 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 right.
We,
Absolutely.
we call it mental health, man. Everybody had it back in the day.
Right. Uh-huh.
Man, you walk up and down the street, like you said, and it was normal.
Hmm.
It was normal.
Exactly.
Folks have no idea what is normal. So to be out of those atmospheres and everything, and to see stuff, be like, okay, that's normal. That's just normal to where you are now. But that right there, and that's a whole storyline, a whole joke line, a book. That's everything. Southeast is a book.
Right. Right.
From the
Exactly.
barbershops to look. Look. I know you're old go head. So who your band, Sean?
Oh my God.
Who your
Go
band? Who your
man.
band?
My band was Red Essence.
Come on,
My,
boy.
my band was Red Essence, but
R A
then,
R double E
huh?
S S E N C E. Come on.
Exactly. But then now, as I get older, my band is different. My band is Backyard.
Okay, back here. Mine is vibe.
You like Vibe?
Woo!
But you know what? You did have Vibe. One time I did the. Remember, I think I
No, I
did the.
had secrets. I had secrets society that day.
No, that's right. That's right. That's right. Secret Society. That's
Yeah,
right.
but secret
Cause you know
society was
what?
vibe. I like that old groove.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I performed with Vibe with you that day, and then I
Secret
performed.
society.
Secret Society that day, and then like about maybe a year later, I performed with Secret Society, at these little girls' birthday party, and they remember me. They was like, "Where you at?" So I said, "Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
them my boys. Now they come no tighter than them because they are full band. Them jokers sing everything from Michael McDonald to some Biggie Smalls.
yeah."
They get it,
Hmm.
but I'm loving Vibe too. Vibe is putting it out there. Now I was listening to Christian and play because see Chris used to be my keyboard player at the church. I used to
Okay.
sing in front. I used to sing in the choir, and Chris was our keyboard player. But I listened to the name and what's the boy's name? The lead singer, Dirk. He been doing what's that doing? They do the old cuss. Everybody wants to rule the world. Man, they hit that thing like it's theirs. Man, I was in look, but you're right. That's and see, I'm JYB because I'm from Bird Farm. So junkyard, I went to
Yeah.
school Bugs and Pratt and all that. But
Yeah.
man, and Junk still Bugs still my man. Junkyard, you can't beat you cannot beat Junk. But man, but you talking about Essence?
That's
Y'all
a
y'all don't
phone.
understand. Tuesday nights with my Marbury summer job check. And my EK, I had my EK glasses on, boy. I had my used jeans on and a pink shirt. Man, come on. Not the
Yeah.
used, no, not the used jeans. AJ Flaps. Come on, boy.
That's
When
right.
Essence on Tuesday nights, man, they folks don't understand. With a little bit of ow.
What was Essence performing on Tuesday night?
At the panorama or look, Sean, it's on a certain place. Everybody on certain people come there. Everybody can come there. Everybody can go panorama room now. Tuesday nights was Rasmus night up there. You couldn't come in. Look, if
See, I
you
was
wasn't
a little
from,
younger. See, I was a
but
little young.
but if you
Only
wasn't
time,
from that side, you couldn't come on that side.
see,
Everybody, like everybody couldn't go to Black Hole.
but see, the thing about it, I was a little young, and the only reason I saw Red Essence was at Triples.
Oh, whoo, whoo, whoo.
Triples on Fridays, and then at the
Folk was in a different lane then. You ain't even understand what he was so tight. And see, I'm dating myself, Sean. I just see him at the High Theater. The show was over 5 o'clock in the morning. Folks say I
yeah.
don't ever say good
But,
night
but
until morning. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. People don't understand that. Go with notice at 5 o'clock in the morning.
but what night was that?
Friday nights at the High Theater. Essence used to
Friday
come on.
nights. Okay.
Essence
Because
used to
they
come
because
on.
they stopped performing at the Howard Theater and they was performing at Triples on Friday
Yeah, they
night.
start, yeah, before they renovate. But High Theater, man, it would Essence didn't come on till 1:30, 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Wow.
Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. But when they came on, hoo, 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 hoo.
Wow.
Folks, I love to go. I love to hear the Go-Go's now, because I can reminisce. But back in the day, like I said, you ain't had no high blood pressure and cholesterol. Well, nothing wrong, because you danced.
Right, right.
You understand the
Let me
shoes?
ask you this. Let
Yes,
me ask you
sir.
this. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen any go-go bands in Florida?
You know what? What's crazy is with the Commanders. Well, they winning now, but last year they had Vibe down here with them.
What?
They've been like push play with the Dallas with Rent with and play down there doing last week.
Okay.
The
Who
go-go
did?
bands, and then when last year when the Commanders played in New Orleans, Junk went down.
Okay.
Look on YouTube, Junk Bugs setting it off.
I look. It's a YouTube that Junk was in Maine.
Man, oh, with the white people, man, killing it.
Yeah.
Man, I'm old Junk Bugs and them. That's my heart. Bugs and Pregnant was my heart. That man, they see. I remember them on the buckets. They live around the corner from us. They played on Bray Farm Rec and played outside in front of my house.
Right. Right.
People don't
Right.
understand, and see, people don't realize that Junkyard was our elementary school band.
Okay. Okay.
Most people had, they was our elementary school band. People don't understand. Our elementary school band was better than your high school band.
Wow.
They was our elementary school band. Junkyard was my Bernie Elementary School. That was our band.
Wow.
Yeah, I go back, but I was we go to school bugs and them. That was man. You can't. I fight your Junkyard, man. Don't you talk about no Junkyard? Come on, rough it off and with all my heart, I love you, man.
Yeah.
Come on, boy. And then, man, and the hee haw, bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. I
That's my bet. I love me some junk. But I was Essence man too, man. Funk, no one came better than James Funk.
no,
Oh
no, no, no.
man.
I
And
and sometimes I run into Funk because he lives somewhere around here, and I run to
right,
him at
right.
the grocery store, and I talked to her. I was like, I want to ask him that he remembered me, but he don't remember me. He knows me as a comedian because when he was with what was the other proper utensils.
Probably you test. Oh, they tie this thing out there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he remembered me because I opened up for proper utensils a couple of times, but he don't remember me being in the front of the go-go with the tape recorder. Yeah.
What's your sign in your hand? Songs and songs. Folks don't understand. And see, everybody's getting a feel of what go-go is now, but they don't understand. When them jokers was 20 years old and little Benny, I got a picture. I just sent it to somebody today. Little Benny was at a friend of mine's. Dang, we just turned 40 then. We going on 60. A friend of mine's birthday party down in Navy Yard, and he was just sitting down chilling with everybody, high fiving folks, da, 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 and the band was playing. So Benny got out there with them, man. Man, shut that place down. And then I had him to do when I first had my first TV show. I had Benny to come out. He was in the audience, man, and that's my last memory of him because I think he passed away maybe 2 years later.
Okay.
He was at my TV show. I did a taping of a TV show for What I Do Is Taboo when I first got the book out and everything, and he needed a jump that night. The event was over. We go, everybody dispersed, everybody get in their car, and Benny needed a jump. He said, Yonder, Yonder, you know how little Benny, yeah? Yonder, give me a
Mhm.
jump. So I gave him a jump. And that's the last time I seen him. It's the last time I seen him before. Yeah, but
Wow.
that was the littlest look. That's who you remind me of. A little man that's big.
A
Come
little
on.
bit of me.
Man, come on, bro. Little Benny didn't know he's 5 feet tall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how I feel
Absolutely.
about you. You don't know you short. You shack size when you on that stage. You shack size.
I appreciate that, man. Thank
Man,
you.
come on. You know a little bit ain't know he was little.
Oh my God.
Man,
Yeah.
that's people. The DC area before we became DMV. DC was it back 80s, 90s. I mean, woo hoo hoo. People don't understand that go-go was that's what fed us. That's that go-go fed us. You went to the go-go. You had if you wouldn't nobody you didn't go to go-go.
Right, 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 right.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
I would
Ab-
love, you know what? I would love to get what's name. I'm gonna see what contacts I got. I would love to talk one on one with James Funk up on here,
oh, and then you that's a 2 hour show.
dude.
And,
Dude, that's three
but then
man,
at the same time, that's a DC show.
man. That right there. Oh, I would love to actually. I'm gonna see if I would love to have Bugs up on here. Oh, Big G. I like backyard. The Big G backyard site.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love
What they
backyard.
say, once in the yard, always in the yard.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
I got love for backyard. Big G, my man, yeah, but that Rare Essence was just, I mean, that was, and mind you, I was a Chuck fan too, but you put Essence out there, it was untouchable.
Yeah, but a lot of people did like Chuck a lot because
Hmm.
he was the pioneer.
And
You
then
know.
all the honeys followed Chuck, because all the hustlers
Yeah.
followed Chuck.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
what do you say? Pretty ladies, nice cars, and dynamite young hustlers. That what Chuck used to say. He said that was 3 days. DC was famous for 3 days. Pretty ladies, nice cars, and the dynamite young hustlers.
I know that's right.
That's what
I
he
know.
always said, and everybody followed Chuck because the hustlers followed Chuck, and the women followed the hustlers. So it was a good time. Yeah, man. I wish I could, like I said, that was my dream. That been my dream interview, Chuck, man. Because that right there,
Mm.
folks don't even understand. You don't even know what Chuck even be saying. You just Chuck just had a groove.
But you know what? The funny thing is, before he died, I met him, but I was no. This is years before when I was working at Red Lobster. I sat down and I talked to him. It was just me and him, 1 on 1, and we talked like for about 30 minutes. You know, and at that time I was a manager for Red Lobster, so
Hmm.
I could go and talk to him for like 30 minutes, and he was cool. He was a
Yeah,
class act.
down. I met him when he had one of the last CDC out. He did a like a Walmart signing. He was at Walmart in St. Mary's County. Then he ended up at Waldorf, and he walked through there. Chuck had the bow legs with the cowboy boots on, with the hat on,
Right.
and we was all sitting there waiting for him. Then one day he lived in Waldorf, so he was at Bank of America one day. I said, "Why me up, Chuck?" He said, "You're spoiling me now." He across the street. I was like, yo, and so I don't know who I had with me that day. He was like, who is that? I was like, you don't understand. You don't understand who that is. That was our legend, and that was our legacy right there. People don't understand how we feel about Chuck Brown like we feel about Marion Barry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man,
Absolutely.
man. Okay, Sean,
Yeah.
I need to get some more questions for you, Sean, from my audience. Okay, I know you're a father with three beautiful daughters, and then you're a granddaddy. Tell me about being a being a dad with three daughters.
It- well, actually, being a dad with 3 daughters is phenomenal. When they were small, of course, you're your kid's star. It's so funny. I remember when I would go and walk in the mall, and somebody go, "Hey, Sean," and I go, "Hey, how you doing? All right." And my kids would go, "Daddy, who was that?" And I was like, "Oh, they're fans." And they was like, "What are fans?" And I said, "Fans are people like your work, whatever you do." And so
Mm-hmm.
they said, "Are we fans?" And I said, "Yeah, some of y'all can be my fans."
Mm-hmm.
And so at the same time, that's something I put on my daughters. They are truly I'm their father. I'm the comedian, and I'm like their little big brother. When I got the phone with you today, I talked to my daughter. She lives in Dallas, and so I was talking about this lady at the hospital that I was having problems with. She said about that. You want me to come up there and fight her? And I said, no, baby.
What's that? One of the twins or the youngest?
The one of the twins, but
Okay.
the youngest, she a rebel too, But I love my daughters. I love my daughters. I never, and the funny thing is, I never visioned myself with boys. I always visioned myself with girls. But then with my grandkids are boys.
Okay, so you have two grandkids.
I had two grandkids and they're boys,
Okay.
Kingston and Nico.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Okay. So
Hmm
how old are they?
They're Nico Kingston is 3 and Nico turned 2 in August.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Hmm
Cool. 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 So you the Sean, the comedian. Look, what you the father, the son, the comedian, and the grandfather,
and a grandfather. You got to add that in.
and the grandfather. That's enough.
I,
That's enough book right there. And the
I
grandfather.
I wrote a book because I said I wanted to patronize my first 50 years of my life, But then now I can write another book,
So how old are
about
you now, Sean?
I'm 53.
Oh, okay. Oh, you getting up there? You kicking down 60. I'm messing with you because I'm 58. Look, I'm kicking down 60.
Yeah, we all kicking down 60, so it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay,
Mhm.
so Sean, tell me, what do you have planned for the future? I mean, I know you and everything. I know you have Kirby Entertainment and everything. Tell us what you're doing for the future.
Well, you know what? At the same time, I'm in the stage of backing up because I was known as a Christian comedian. And what that meant was I performed at churches or whatever, or church functions. After COVID, it ain't no church functions now. So the funny thing is, like when we began talking about, I just perform. I just perform at wherever. But at the same time, as me, I'm gonna still be accountable of not cussing and being a clean comedian. So that
Gotcha.
means that I can perform with dudes that be cussing, that when I get on stage, I don't cuss,
Mm-hmm.
And
So does that
so,
put you first or the middle? You go. Where do you end up in that? I mean, do you go first then?
well, sometimes I go first, sometimes I go in the middle. Like I perform a lot with Huggy Lowdown.
Okay.
Everybody know, Huggy Lowdown and Chris Paul and
Yes.
them. So like with them, yeah, I do go on first, But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I go on in the middle. I can go on because at the same, I know who I am now, and I
Yes.
think that's part of my comedy of really recognize of who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't gonna say if you cuss a whole bunch and then I get on stage and I can follow you. No, I'm not saying that. But like Huggy and Chris Paul don't cuss a lot.
Right.
They cuss, it cuss minimal. So
And I heard Frankie Beverly say something about when he gets on stage, he didn't care if they put him first, last, or whatever. He said, "I'm gonna give it to you. That's it. I'm gonna come and give it to you. I don't care where they put me at in the show. When I get on
mhm.
stage, I'm gonna give it to you." That's he said as simple as that. He said he was talking about. He said he didn't care if Jeffrey Osborne in front of him or the Commodores behind him or whoever was on there. He said they had him come on first, and Jeffrey Osborne and Commodores came. He said when you see Maze, I'm gonna give it to you. He said that's it, and that's how I feel that you do. I'm just gonna give it when I
But
get
you
on that
but, but
stage, I'm gonna give it to you.
but you know what's so funny? Thank you. But the funny thing is, now as I'm 53 years old, I hate going on last. I want to perform and do my show, get my money, and go home. I ain't trying to I ain't trying to hang around or whatever. And the funny thing, it was an honor for you to go on last. So like now when I go on last, people are like, oh, that's good. It's cats that were killed to go on last. I was like, what's the big deal? You going on last, But at the same time, I want to do my look, like I said, we was in North Carolina, so it was me, Chocolate, and Gravedigger, and it was two soloists, right? So the soloists, and of course, went in the middle, and the Gravedigger went in the middle. Chocolate was hosting. They put me on last. I was mad as I don't know what to go on last, but at the same time, I do my job. And then and this would make me mad. I hope the promoter, because he's a good dude, right? Jerry Smith, he's a good dude. I hope he ain't listening. But when I went on last, they was rushing me to get on stage, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm going on last. You know,
Right.
but you did your time. Whatever.
Right,
Whatever.
right. That's funny you said that because, like I said, I've seen you numerous times, numerous events, man. Been following you from, what is it, Reverend Show Enough,
Brother
man.
showed up.
Let
Yeah.
me get him a little. He used to be on Yolanda Adams and Marcus Wiley show, and he did this character called Reverend Show Enough, man.
Hmm.
Used to have me crying, and then you was doing little videos before they got memes out. You used to do little videos about the bill collectors. The bills were chasing you.
Yeah. Yeah. That was that's
Everywhere
a
you
long
went,
time ago.
everywhere you
But
went, the bills came out. The bills were chasing you down the street like they were gangsters.
but at the same time, if y'all do not know who I am, just go on YouTube or go to my website www.sean SEAN Sarvis SARVIS.com, and you
Hey,
can
Hey,
see
Sean,
all.
I know y'all getting to get on out of here and everything like that. But would you go over since you're up there, like Yonder, up there in those DC areas and all along those lines? Would you go tell that crazy president of yours to stop building that ballroom of his and everything along those lines? Because I'm still trying to figure out how come he's playing destruction with that ballroom because he's playing destructive Sam and everything.
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
Sean, I get we gonna get out of here. But I always ask folks. First of all, I appreciate having you over conversations with friends because you've been my boy from day one. The minute we met, we was like, leave the people with some information. You just plug your website. Leave us with some a good word.
Well, I ain't got no good word for you.
Well,
you ain't got one good word
Listen,
before you get the good word. Let me.
I don't have no good. I ain't no reverend yet, but I ain't got no good word for you. But if you want to follow me, go to Sean. Go to Sean Sarvis on Facebook. Big Sarv BIGSARV on Instagram, and I think Sean Sarvis on TikTok. I'm on TikTok nowadays.
and
So.
folks, he is hilarious. You book him.
He
You
sounds
don't just have to
hilarious and
book for your
everything.
church.
Hey,
Book him for
Sean, you got
something.
any words of advice? Because when I was talking after I got off the phone with y'all and let you talk to him on the phone, but Ronnie's supposed to be taller than me tomorrow. So, what you want me to tell Ronnie from Sean tomorrow? Because I'll actually see Ronnie tomorrow. He's actually called me, told me he's going to call me since he's in
Man,
North Carolina.
man, only words I got for Ronnie is I love Ronnie. Ronnie was my bridge from amateur to pro. I learned a lot from Ronnie Warner. Learned that, and you know, and it's so funny. Ronnie does not get the notoriety as, like you were saying, Tony Woods
Mhm.
or whatever. But at the same time, he can be a great mentor. Even the story that he told that, or he was saying, don't leave your feet or
Mhm.
whatever. He left his feet or whatever. That that's knowledge. Because at
Yeah.
the same time, you cannot leave your. You got to make sure the joke is hilarious if you leave your feet because it's a long way up. And when you get up, what you gonna say? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, it's no comedy there. You
Yeah.
know. So at the same time, I love Ronnie. Tell that brother again, I love him. You know, no homo, but to that brother, I love Ronnie.
I will
I love
definitely pass
Ronnie.
the word
Hey
on to
Mark,
him.
and when you get a chance, send him my information. I'll get here because I would love to have him on the show.
I'll
Actually, I
definitely
would
do
love to
that.
have
Yes.
him and Sean on the show together because I know that's a comedian's best spot when they got the other comedian buddy. I know we'll be in here crying
Yeah.
because
And,
Sean got
and
stories, and I know he got stories when he's hanging with somebody.
Yeah.
and give him my number. Give him my number so you can give it to Ronnie as well. Because I lost all my numbers during the pandemic. So
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely pass it
that
on to. I'll pass it on to Yonder. And Yonder, if you pass me on his number, we'll make sure that y'all connect and everything along those lines. We'll make it happen.
Yes, and
yeah,
Sean,
absolutely.
I appreciate you, man. I love you as a brother, man. Love you as a
Love you too,
friend,
Doc.
and
Thank you.
and
Love
love
you too, man.
Love you as a comedian, man. Please go follow Sean Salvers on all social media. This guy is hilarious. He's an unknown hilarious. And that's what I mean, really, you should have been viral years ago, Sean, because the stuff you do and the stuff you say, I'm talking about, like I said, for you to have said a joke to get a heckler at a church, that
Mm.
had to be one hell of a joke.
That joke really affected you. I didn't even know that, but thank you,
Dude,
brother.
Man,
I really.
I was trying to look. I was trying to tell my wife the joke, and like you said, you gotta be physically there and gotta be setting up. And she was looking at me like, okay, all right. I was like, you don't. I said he has to tell
But
you
you
this
know what,
joke.
the funny thing about comedy is somebody can tell a joke that you think is hilarious, and then when you try to repeat it, it's
Mhm.
Yeah,
the atmosphere. You have to be there or whatever. So then, because then this is why I don't do jokes on interviews, because at the same time I'm physical. Like you want me to do the security joke. I got to stand up on a chair. You got to see my whole body or whatever. I ain't doing that.
and see,
And
and then
then
Sean,
and then when you do it, and if it ain't funny, you hurt yourself more than whatever. Because people say, "But that Negro ain't funny."
Well,
and
Sean,
Sean,
that's
and
part.
see,
Brother,
only
Sean,
person
that's
I know
part of
that
the
had the
problem.
faces. Sean, you
Yeah,
got the faces. Richard Pryor had the faces. The faces you make when you doing some of this stuff. Like I said, sometimes I don't even know what you said. I'm laughing at your
it doesn't
face.
work. Look, Yonder. It does not. This is probably my 1,200th interview. It don't work
Man,
unless unless you're being set up or whatever, and then
man.
it's a word joke where you can just like like do it like as a word, but at the same time, it
but
just
but Sean and Yana, just really quickly before y'all get off of here and we run over a little bit and everything like that. But in that same realm, that's why I think that, to your point, Sean, um, you have to be in the room a lot of times for dry humor to work. Because I do a lot
mhm,
of times with even my friends and everything, and some of it is what they call dry humor. But you have to actually be in the space in order for dry humor to work. Because a lot of times it doesn't work if you're not in the space. I would argue the same, and you can see if you think I'm correct, Sean. But I would argue the same even, and I was trying to set you up for one, but even for political satire, you have to be actually in that space in order for that to work. Because not everybody can pull off political satire unless they are in the space of being able to set it up.
but then the other thing is, if you was trying to set me up for a joke, I gotta know who you are.
Right,
So at the same time, if I don't know you, say I'm just thinking you talking. So if I
right,
so if I don't know who you are, if I don't know who you are, and you trying to set me up for a joke, and
right,
then now even Ronnie, I don't think Ronnie could set me up with a joke because we haven't been around each other
right,
for
exactly.
years.
Right.
So but we hang around each other, and you say something, and I pick up on it, and I go, that's classic. But at
Yeah,
the
and,
same time,
that's part of what me and Ronnie, and that's what we were describing. Because for a long time, and it's kind of what you were describing, that you had that relationship with Ronnie, is when me and Ronnie and even those other gentlemen that I mentioned, Ray to some degree, who's still a friend of mine, and even Brett, who he mentioned, who is a TV producer and now a professor, we were
mhm.
Ronnie's straight man and everything. So, like I said, we knew that Ronnie was a comedian. So we knew that if we were after the show going to say something that might be a setup for a joke or everything like that, Ronnie was going to run with it because we knew that in our role, because we're not comedians, we knew our role was to be us to be the straight man. So we
And
were pretty
it's almost like basketball. It's almost like John Stockton and Karl
right,
Malone.
right,
So like he gonna throw the alley you catch it and dunk it,
right.
But at the same time, if I don't know you a point guard and you throw the ball, I'm like,
And that's what that's my point exactly. That's what, because
Exactly.
Ronnie knew my personality, he knew Brett's personality, and he knew our personality. So we over there playing, and a lot of it was us playing off of what we had seen in the club because we had been in the club
exactly.
dancing, we'd been in the club hanging out with each other, whether it was the comedy club or the dance club that was right next door. So we were making observational jokes or making observational things, and also a lot of self-deprecating humor. So I will even admit that a lot of times I was setting myself up for a joke, as was Brett, because we knew that what we had done had been silly. Like if we stepped to a girl that we knew that we didn't stand a chance of getting, we knew that if we brought that up to Roddy, he was gonna make a joke about it. He's gonna be like,
Right.
you could be like, you thought you had a chance with that girl? Are you kidding me? Make a whole joke about it.
Right. All right, y'all.
Well,
Well,
well, thank you again, Sean. Please look him up on social media, y'all. Sean Sarvis, Sean. Sarvis is Sarvis. This is one of the funniest guys you will ever look at and see and book him for your everything. He do everything. He don't do church events no more. He do sororities, fraternities, whatever you got. Bar mitzvahs, he do shoot. He host stuff. So call this
Yeah,
man up and get his man some word.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And you won't be disappointed. And he's gonna do this. He's gonna do the joke that I'm telling y'all about. When y'all hear that joke, y'all gonna understand. Tell him to do the look mall security. Man,
I think I got it on my website. I think I got it on my
man.
website.
Like I said, you had to be there, but your face, Sean, your face, and you standing up on that chair, and them socks,
Riley,
they
right.
don't even
Oh,
understand.
Yonder. Let it go. All right,
They don't
y'all. I'm
understand.
good.
Hey,
All
All
right,
Sean,
right.
if
peace,
you can
Sean.
see
Love
the
you,
chat,
man.
if you can
Love
see
you
the
too,
chat in
Doc.
the
All
phone,
right.
if you can see the chat in the phone, that's actually Ronnie's number. So just let you
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Cool. All right.
All right. Later.
know.